When you hear Uzbekistan, do you think of deserts and pilaf? Then you're missing the most important part of its story. This land was home to a civilization as old as Sumer and Egypt. This is where the size of the earth was calculated, where ideas were born that changed the world. Empires tried to erase this history, but the people rebuilt it again and again. This is not just the history of one country, it is the heart of Central Asia. And in the next 16 minutes, I will show you why.
When people hear Uzbekistan, most imagine endless deserts, bizarre rows piled high with spices, and hundreds of varieties of dried apricots, old men in skull caps drinking tea from bowls, and, of course, pilaf cooked in a cauldron the size of a bathtub. But Uzbekistan is also a place where the Bactria Margiana civilization once existed, a contemporary of the Sumerian and Egyptian civilizations. Samarkand, which today may seem like an ordinary city, was once the center of a Central Asian Renaissance where great minds such as Avicenna, Al-Khwarizmi, and Ulugh Beg lived and worked. The history of Uzbekistan, like that of all Central Asia, is extremely rich and complex. The Soviet Union alone redrew the borders of the Central Asian republics 11 times. I will try not to make such mistakes and tell you the history of this region in just 16 minutes. Every country has historical predecessors that played a key role in the formation of the nation. At first, these were Stone Age tribes, and later, with the development of civilization, principalities emerged. These principalities fought wars for land and resources until they were absorbed by stronger states. Through endless mixing of cultures and peoples, one society gave birth to another, preserving traits of the past. The history of Uzbekistan is a vivid example of this process. Look at the territory of Uzbekistan, almost all desert. However, in the southeast, there are fertile lands, access to fresh water, and an abundance of warmth, three foundations for the emergence of civilization. Here, as well as in the territories of modern Afghanistan, Tajikistan, and Turkmenistan, an ancient civilization existed, and we are not talking about Lemuria or Hyperborea, but the Bactria Margiana civilization, a proven and well-documented fact. For example, beads and figurines of humans and birds created by this civilization more than 7,000 years ago have been found. Until relatively recently, few could imagine how rich this culture was until excavations began. Archaeological discoveries turned the understanding of the region's history upside down. An ancient temple over 8,000 years old, built of mud brick, was discovered here. And if people were already using such building materials in the 6th millennium BCE, the culture itself must have originated even earlier. Since information about this civilization remains limited, we move on to its successors, states that existed over 3,000 years ago: Khorazm, Sogdiana, Bactria, and Margiana. Life there was bustling. Noisy markets stood alongside craft quarters where skilled weavers created magnificent fabrics, potters molded and fired durable ceramics, weaponsmiths forged deadly swords, and jewelers turned metal into elegant ornaments. Their products were in high demand not only in neighboring lands, but far beyond Central Asia. The wealth of these lands and their strategic position at the crossroads of trade routes inevitably attracted conquerors. In the second half of the 1st millennium BCE, the territory of modern Uzbekistan was conquered by Cyrus the Great, founder of the Achaemenid Empire. Bactria and Sogdiana were incorporated into the royal road connecting the eastern and western regions of the empire. However, in the 4th century BCE, the Achaemenid Empire fell under the blows of Alexander the Great. He conquered Bactria, captured the city of Margiana, modern Samarkand, and Hellenistic culture began to penetrate the region. Persian bas-reliefs were depicted in Greek style. Local rulers adopted Hellenistic military tactics, such as the phalanx and war chariots. Coinage, sculpture, and architecture were heavily influenced. This is evident in the ancient Hellenistic capital of Bactria, Acon Home. The Seleucids and later the Greco-Bactrian kingdom controlled key trade routes between China and Rome. Important caravan routes passed through the territory of modern Uzbekistan, later becoming part of the Great Silk Road. The idea of creating this transcontinental trade route originated in China after the diplomat Zhang Qian returned in 125 BCE and reported on powerful states beyond the Great Wall. By the end of the 2nd century BCE, Bactria fell under the pressure of nomadic tribes, Yuji. Greek settlements declined and a powerful nomadic tradition was added to the Greco-Iranian culture. On the ruins of Bactria arose the Kushan Empire, whose ruler Kanishka the Great played a crucial role in the spread of Buddhism, turning his empire into one of Eurasia's major spiritual and cultural centers. From the 2nd century CE, Central Asian cities experienced a new flourishing. They became administrative, craft, and trade hubs where caravan routes from China, India, Iran, and Rome intersected once again. Zoroastrianism and Buddhism dominated, but Jewish, Manichaean, and Christian communities also existed peacefully. In the 6th century, Turkic tribes invaded the region, capturing Chech, modern Tashkent, and settling in northern Fergana. Sogdianan principalities such as Samarkand and Bukhara retained internal autonomy. Cotton, silk, and textile production flourished. Metals were mined and coins minted. The Orkhan Yenisei Turkic script spread, and Yolig Tekin became the first Turkic poet, historian, and writer. In the early 7th century, Arab commander Qutayba ibn Muslim conquered Bukhara, Khorazm, and Samarkand. The region became part of the Umayyad Caliphate. Islam gradually replaced Zoroastrianism and Buddhism, though Christianity and Judaism persisted. Samarkand became a center of paper production, launching the Muslim Renaissance. Scholars such as al-Khwarizmi, al-Farghani, al-Bukhari, and at-Tirmizi emerged. Under their leadership, astronomical discoveries were made, Earth's circumference was calculated, star catalogs compiled, and scientific instruments perfected. In the 13th century, the region was devastated by Genghis Khan. Cities were destroyed, populations killed or enslaved, and oases turned to ruins. Central Asia was revived by Tamerlane, or Amir Timur, who rebuilt cities and transformed Samarkand into a jewel of the East. His descendants, the Timurids, made the region a center of science and art. After the collapse of the Golden Horde, various Turkic tribes united under Abulkair Khan, and the name Uzbeks emerged, derived from Uzbek Khan, who established Islam as the state religion. Under the Shaibanids, a settled Uzbek people formed, and the Chagatai language became the basis of modern Uzbek. Later, Central Asia fell under Russian imperial rule, and eventually Soviet national delimitation redrew borders 11 times, creating modern Uzbekistan. These borders later caused post-Soviet tensions. Today, Uzbekistan is known worldwide as the homeland of great statesmen, scholars, and thinkers: Avicenna, al-Khwarizmi, and Ulugh Beg. Cities such as Samarkand, Bukhara, Khiva, and Shakrivzab are UNESCO World Heritage Treasures, and Uzbek pilaf and samsa are masterpieces of culinary art. The history of Uzbekistan cannot be fully understood without studying the history of Mongolia and neighboring Kazakhstan. I recommend watching those next.